On the night the drums fell silent in Oroit village, a cry rose from the forest. A woman's cry, sharp enough to split the moon. Every living soul awoke that night. Goats stopped chewing. Roosters refused to crow. And the wind, usually playful around the palm trees, crawled across the village like a frightened child. Elders later swore the earth trembled under it. But only one person knew whose voice it was. Marinma. The woman whose beauty made even the bravest men lower their eyes. The woman who walked like a promise and spoke like rainfall. The woman every man wanted but none could ever satisfy. That night, in her small hut at the edge of the forest, Marima knelt on the cold clay floor, shaking, sweating, and begging the darkness. Please, don't come tonight. I beg you. Not tonight. But the air thickened. The lamp flickered. And then she felt it. The familiar, terrifying warmth encircling her waist from behind. Even though no one had entered the room. Marima had always been different. Her mother told her that even as a child, strangers stared at her too long. Her laughter would make men pause their conversations. Her tears could ripple through the hearts of elders like a drumbeat. Yet she never felt normal. Sometimes at night, she would feel fingers brush her hair, though no one else was there. Sometimes she would wake with the smell of fresh rain in her hut, even during the dry season. And sometimes, she would hear a voice. You are not alone, my bride. But whenever she turned, there was only darkness. As she grew older, the urges began. Deep, intense cravings for affection no human man could quench. Her beauty brought men to her doorstep, eager to prove their worth. Yet every one of them left before sunrise. Not angry, not ashamed, but broken. Some lost their strength. Some lost their voice. Some lost the will to ever be with a woman again. One simply fainted at her doorstep and never returned. Whispers began. Fear spread. And soon, mothers warned their sons. Do not look Marima in the eyes. Do not speak to her alone. Do not follow her anywhere near nightfall. But no one understood the truth. Not until the night the drums fell silent. The first time she saw him was not with her eyes. It was with her breath. She had been 16, pounding cassava one humid evening. Sweat ran down her back, and frustration knotted her chest. The urge had grown unbearable that day, an aching emptiness that no hug, no word, no comfort could soothe. And then, the wind shifted. The lamps dimmed. The wooden pestle slipped from her fingers. A warmth, soft and welcoming, wrapped around her waist from behind. It felt like strong arms. It felt like a man pulling her gently into an embrace. Yet no one was there. She tried to scream, but the warmth stroked her face, calming her. Then a voice echoed inside her chest, deep, ancient, impossibly gentle. Do not fear me. You were born mine. She collapsed. When she woke, she knew one thing. She would never be free again. Over the years, the invisible presence grew bolder. He visited only at night. He touched only her. He whispered things no human should hear. He taught her pleasures no man could match. And he marked her, claiming her as his bride. The villagers noticed she never had suitors for long. They noticed how men avoided her as though she carried death in her shadow. They noticed that her eyes sometimes glowed faintly when she was angry or heartbroken. One elder finally said what everyone feared. A spirit lies with that woman. But no one dared confront her. Because in Oroit village, spirits were not myths. They were real. And this one was far from ordinary. Everything changed the day a stranger walked into Oroit. Tall. Calm. Scarred from battles the village did not know. His name was Obina, a wandering herbalist who claimed he could cure what ordinary healers could not. When he first saw Marima at the stream, she was washing her clothes, her back turned. But as she lifted her head to tie her hair, their eyes locked. It felt like the entire river held its breath. Marima looked away immediately, trembling. She knew what happened to men who admired her too long. She knew the spirit grew jealous. But Obina did not look away. He stared deeper, as though he was searching for something behind her eyes. And then he whispered, "So you're the one he chose?" Marima froze. No man had ever spoken those words before. How do you know?" she asked, voice shaking. Obina stepped closer, but respectfully, as one would approach a trapped animal. "I have seen this before," he said softly. "A spirit that takes a woman as his bride. A spirit that grows stronger every year. A spirit that drains any man who touches her." Marima stepped back, terrified. "You don't understand," she whispered. "If he knows you spoke to me, he will." A sudden gust of wind tore through the forest. Leaves scattered. The river's surface rippled violently. Obina's eyes narrowed. "He is listening, isn't he?" he asked calmly. Marima nodded slowly. Tears filled her eyes. "He always listens." That night, the spirit came to her angrier than she had ever known. The lamp blew out. The heart trembled. Her body lifted slightly off the ground. "Marima." The voice was cold. Deep. Echoing like thunder in a cave. "Do not speak to the traveler again." She sobbed, clutching her chest. "I didn't mean to. He spoke to me first. He is not welcome." The spirit's grip tightened. Her breath stopped. Her heartbeat faltered. "You are mine," the spirit whispered. "Only mine. I claimed you before your first breath." And then, with a gentleness more terrifying than anger, he added, "If he speaks to you again, I will kill him." She fell to the ground, gasping. Outside, the wind screamed through the village like a wounded animal. Inside, Marima cried until her voice broke. Because for the first time in her life, someone was willing to fight for her. And someone was willing to kill for her. The next morning, the villagers gathered at the marketplace. They whispered about the winds that tore through the night, the sudden cold, the strange sounds echoing from the forest. Only the elders knew the truth. A spirit had been angered. Obina walked into the market during the murmurs, calm but troubled. His scarred hands carried baskets of herbs, yet his eyes searched every corner, looking for her. When the villagers noticed him, they fell silent. It wasn't just because he was new. It was the way he walked, steady, unafraid, like a man who had survived death more than once. Mama Egbuni, the oldest woman in Olweit, spat on the ground and hissed, "Traveler, keep your distance from that girl. She is not for the living." Obina lowered his basket. "I know what she is," he said. The villagers gasped. Some stepped back. Even the palm trees seemed to sway in warning. Mama Egbuni's voice trembled. "You speak boldly for someone who doesn't value his own life." Obina looked her straight in the eye. "If the spirit wanted me dead, he would have struck me last night." Silence fell like a dropped calabash. Not even a baby cried. Because the villagers all sensed it too. The spirit had watched Obina. And decided something. Inside her heart, Marima sat trembling. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her heart felt torn between terror and a strange, unfamiliar warmth. She had never known a man who wasn't afraid of her. Never known someone who didn't run away after feeling the spirit's presence. But Obina. He had stood still. As though the spirit's rage was air. As though he had faced worse. And that frightened her even more. She touched her neck, remembering the invisible grip that had tightened around it the night before. Her skin still hurt. She whispered to herself, voice shaking, "Obina, why didn't you leave me alone?" She closed her eyes. Immediately, She felt it. Warmth. A breath that wasn't hers. A presence kneeling beside her. Her heart skipped. He was here. "Why do you cry?" the spirit asked gently. His tone was soft now, soothing, as though last night's violence never happened. She didn't answer. He stroked her cheek. Her body shivered. "You fear him," the spirit whispered. "Good. Stay away." She shook her head weakly. "I fear you," she whispered. A long silence followed. The spirit's grip froze on her cheek. Then, "I have never harmed you," he said quietly. "You almost killed him. Because he threatened what is mine." Marima clenched her teeth, tears springing again. "I am not yours," she whispered. "I never agreed." The lamp exploded. The walls shook violently. The wind tore through her heart, lifting her hair, slamming the door shut. And then, the voice that came next was not gentle. Not warm. Not human. "You were promised to me before you were born." Marima collapsed in tears. The spirit paused, the power in the room suddenly dropping, leaving behind only a heavy, suffocating sadness. His voice softened again. "I cannot lose you." And then he vanished, leaving the hut colder than a grave. That evening, Obina went to the elders' hut. They were already waiting for him. Elder Odnaik stood with a staff carved with ancient symbols. His grey beard touched his chest. His eyes were tired, too tired for someone who had not left his hut all day. Before Obina even spoke, Elder Odnaik began. "You should have stayed away from that girl." Obina kept silent. Another elder, Mama Egbuni, leaned forward. "What chased your family from your village?" she asked softly. "You carry scars not made by animals. Or men." Obina's jaw tightened. "I have faced spirits before," he said quietly. "We know," Elder Odnaik replied. "That is why we fear for you." The elders exchanged glances. Mama Egbuni sighed. Long before Marima was born, her mother lived in the next village, Oguta. She was beautiful, gentle, and chosen, Elder Odnaik finished quietly. Obina frowned. "Chosen by who?" The hut darkened as a cloud passed overhead. A cold wind seeped through the cracks. Mama Egbuni whispered. "By a river deity." Obina straightened slowly. "A deity?" "Yes. One of the ancient spirits," Elder Odnaik said. "A spirit of water and night. He calls himself Ezemu, keeper of the deep." Obina's eyes narrowed. Water spirits were old, powerful, capable of love and rage. Mama Egbuni continued. "He demanded her mother. But the woman fled. She married a mortal man. She bore a child." Obina swallowed. "Marima." "Yes. But the spirit did not forget. He came for the child instead." She shook her head. "When the mother died, we thought the curse died with her. But the spirit came for the daughter on her 16th birthday." Obina clenched his fist. "So she never had a choice." "No." The elder's eyes dimmed. "And anyone who tries to free her will face the ocean's wrath." Obina lowered his head. Not in fear, but in thought. After a long silence, Elder Odnaik asked, "What do you intend to do, traveler?" Obina looked up, eyes filled with quiet fire. "I intend to do what no man in this village has dared." The elders leaned closer. Obina said it plainly. "I intend to free Marima." The elders gasped. Mama Egbuni grabbed his hand urgently. "Do not attempt it," she cried. "That spirit is not like the ones you have fought before. He is old. He is powerful. He is jealous." Obina gently removed her grip. "I have defeated worse." Elder Odnaik's voice trembled. "Obina, This spirit loves her. He truly loves her. And a spirit's love is more dangerous than a spirit's hatred. Obina's face softened for the first time. I know. He rose to his feet. But someone must save her. That night, Marima could not sleep. She sat by the window, her knees drawn to her chest, listening to the forest. Crickets sang. Owls hooted. Palm leaves rustled. But her heart was heavy. Then, the wind stopped. Completely. Everything fell silent. The flame in her lamp grew taller, brighter, as though bowing. And she felt it. The same warmth she felt since she was a child. But this time, it was different. The air thickened. The ground trembled. The temperature rose like midday heat. And then, a figure began to form in the corner of her hut. Not smoke. Not shadow. Water. The shape of a man sculpted from clear, shimmering water, glowing faintly blue. Her breath caught. His face became visible, handsome, ageless, familiar. He stepped forward, water dripping from his form yet leaving the ground dry. For the first time in her life, she saw him. Izenwu. The spirit who claimed her. The spirit who wanted her. The spirit who would kill for her. He reached out a hand made of water that glowed like moonlight. My bride, he whispered, voice echoing like waves in a cave. Now you can see me. Marima's heart thundered. Her lips trembled. Why have you shown yourself? She whispered. His eyes darkened. Because another man desires what belongs to me. Her breath stopped. Obina, she whispered. The spirit's watery form flickered with anger. He will die if he comes near you again. Marima shook her head, tears falling freely. Please, don't hurt him. He only wants to help me. Izenwu stepped closer until his glowing face was inches from hers. I do not want your suffering, he whispered. I want your eternity. His hand touched her cheek. Cold. Warm. Both at once. Like river water under moonlight. You belong to the deep, he murmured. And when the time comes, you will join me beneath the water. Marima's eyes widened in horror. Beneath the water? You mean? Yes, he whispered, voice thick with longing. You will die here, then be reborn as mine. She screamed. He vanished, leaving behind a puddle that evaporated instantly. The next morning, Obina woke to an ache crawling across his shoulder, sharp, burning, unfamiliar. He sat up quickly, pushed aside his raffia mat, and removed his shirt. His breath caught. There, etched into his skin like a wound carved by invisible claws, was a symbol, a curved mark that glowed faintly blue, like river water catching sunlight. A mark no human hand could create. A mark shaped like a serpent coiled around a drop of water. Obina didn't panic. He only whispered one word, voice low and grim. Izenwu. The spirit had marked him. A warning. A promise. A countdown. He touched the glowing scar. It pulsed under his fingers, cold and alive. A sign that the spirit had claimed him for death. But instead of fear, Obina only felt a stirring in his chest, the same emotion he tried to bury since he saw Marima by the river. Determination. He stood up, wrapped his shirt tightly, and whispered. If death is the price for freeing her, then let death come. Marima walked straight to Elder Odnaik's compound before the sun climbed high. She didn't greet anyone. Her steps were rushed, her eyes swollen. When she entered, the elder was sitting on a low stool, as though he had been expecting her. Child, he began softly, you look troubled. Tell me about my mother, she demanded. He sighed deeply, pressing his palm into his forehead. Marima, that is not. Tell me, she cried, voice cracking. Tell me why a spirit claims me. Tell me why I feel things no human should. Tell me why he wants to take me beneath the water. The elder's body went still. Even the birds in the palm tree stopped singing. Finally, he motioned for her to sit. She didn't. He looked into her eyes filled with pain, longing, fury, fear. Then he spoke. Your mother was promised to Ezenwu before she was born. Marima felt the ground tilt beneath her feet. No. 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 She grabbed the elder's staff for balance. What do you mean? She whispered. The elder's voice trembled. Her mother, your grandmother, made a pact in desperation. She was barren for many years. She went to the river and begged Ezenwu for a child. Marima covered her mouth with shaking hands. The spirit agreed, the elder continued, but with a price. The first daughter born in the bloodline would belong to him. Tears blurred her eyes. So I was never mine, she whispered. The elder nodded sorrowfully. Your mother tried to break the curse. She ran from the river. She hid you from him. But on your 16th birthday, he came to claim what was his. Marima staggered back. Her chest tightened painfully. So my life, she whispered, was never meant to be lived. Marima. My future was never mine. Marima, please. My heart, my choices, my love, none of it was mine from the beginning. The elder rose, tears in his old eyes. Child, some battles begin before we are born. She collapsed to her knees and screamed. A scream so deep it broke the heart of anyone who heard it. Obinna found her at the back of the elder's compound, curled against the clay wall, shaking. He knelt beside her quietly. She didn't look at him. She just whispered, voice trembling. He will kill you. I know. You must leave the village. I won't. She finally turned to him, eyes red and full of storms. Why? Why stay? Why fight what is bigger than the both of us? Why risk your life for someone marked by a spirit? Obinna took a slow breath. For the first time, his voice softened, truly softened. Because you are the only person I have met, he said quietly, who knows what it feels like to belong to something you never asked for. She blinked. What do you mean? He hesitated. Then spoke the truth he had buried. I, too, was promised before birth, to a spirit of the forest. Marima gasped. Obinna looked away, shame darkening his face. But my father fought for me. He died fighting. And the spirit released me only because my family gave a blood sacrifice in my place. He lifted his shirt. Marima saw another symbol, an older, faded one, etched across his ribs. A mark eerily similar to hers. He swallowed. I survived my destiny, but lost my entire family. Silence. Heavy. Painful. Equal. And in that silence, Marima realized. For the first time in her cursed life, she had found someone who understood her without explanation. Someone whose soul had also been touched by the unnatural. Someone who knew the weight of being owned. Someone who knew what it meant to fear love. Ezenwu felt it. Deep in the river, where the water turned black and cold, he felt something new bloom in Marima's chest. He froze. Was that affection? For the traveler. The river trembled. The fish scattered. The waves rose. Storm clouds gathered far beyond the horizon. Deep beneath the water, the spirit clenched his fist. No, he whispered. Not him. Not a mortal. The water around him boiled. Lightning cracked above the river. Ezenwu rose from the depths, his watery form shimmering with fury. You dare, he growled, voice rumbling like thunder in a cave. You dare to love another. He lifted his arm. A pulse of power shot through the village. Rattling roofs, extinguishing lamps, shaking the sacred trees. Villagers screamed and ran inside. Only one hut remained lit. Hers. He focused on it. Then on the second shadow inside it, Obina. His watery form grew distorted with rage. I warned you, the spirit hissed. Obina and Marima were sitting near a small oil lamp when they heard it. A low, deep rumble. Like a wave hitting a hollow rock. Like a heartbeat beneath the earth. Marima grabbed Obina's wrist. He's coming. The lamp flickered violently. The air thickened, hot and cold at once. The ground cracked. And then, the entire hut burst into a whirlwind of water. A spinning column of blue, glowing liquid filled the room, lifting mats, pots, and furniture into the air. Marima screamed. Obina shielded her, pushing her against the wall. The water swirled faster, forming the shape of a man. Izenwu. His voice shook the hut. I warned you, mortal. He thrust a hand forward, sending a jet of water sharp as a spear directly at Obina's chest. Marima gasped. The room exploded with light. Obina hit the wall hard, collapsing to his knees, breath gone, ribs bending dangerously. Marima crawled to him, crying. No. Please, stop. Please. Izenwu towered above them, his watery form shaking with fury. He touched you. He sat beside you. He shared your breath. He looked at you with desire. He raised his arm again. I will end him. Before he struck, Marima flung herself in front of Obina. If you kill him, she sobbed, you will lose me forever. Izenwu froze. The water in his form rippled. His voice lowered to a devastating whisper. What did you say? She wiped her tears, but her voice remained steady. If you kill him, I will never come to you willingly. I will curse you until I die. And I will choose death over eternity with you. Silence. Thunder rumbled outside. Izenwu's watery form paused, dimmed, trembled. After a long, tortured pause, he whispered. You love him. Her eyes filled. I don't know. Her voice broke. I don't know what I feel. But I know I cannot live if you kill him. Izenwu stood motionless. Then, slowly, he withdrew his hand. His voice was low, cold, and shattered. Very well. His body unraveled into mist. But before disappearing, he sent a final whisper that chilled both of them to the bone. Let him heal. Let him breathe. Let him cherish your heart, for now. When the next moon rises, I will take you beneath the water. The lamp died. The wind howled. Izenwu was gone. And the countdown had begun. The village of Orwait slept uneasily. Even the animals refused to make a sound. Palm leaves swayed in anticipation of a storm that had yet to arrive. Marima sat by the riverbank, knees drawn to her chest, staring into the black water. Obina sat beside her, silent, his scarred hands resting on his knees. Neither dared to speak at first. Finally, Marima whispered. The next full moon, he will come. And I cannot fight him forever. Obina gently took her hand. You are not fighting him alone, he said quietly. We will face him together. She shook her head, tears brimming. No, Obina, if he wins, you die. If I fight, I might die. I cannot lose you too. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. Then we fight wisely, he said softly. Together. You are not just a victim of this curse, you are a warrior. You are my warrior. Her lips trembled. She wanted to believe him. But deep down, the terror of Izenwu's power gripped her heart like ice. That night, Marima dreamed. The river called her. She walked into the shallow water, feeling it rise over her feet, over her knees, and then up to her waist. From the depths, a figure emerged. Faintly glowing, ethereal, with eyes like the night sky. Her mother. Marinma, the spirit whispered. I am bound to the river, but I am free in this realm. You are my daughter. I try to protect you, but Ezenwo is patient. He claims what is his. But there is a choice. One that can save you, if you are willing to pay the cost. Marinma's heart raced. What choice? She asked. To defy him, one of you must offer a life in exchange. A willing life. A mortal life. If the spirit claims it, he will release the other. He will respect the sacrifice. He will honor it. But one of you must die willingly. Marinma gasped. Her eyes filled with tears. Her mother continued. Your heart will guide you. But you must act before the next full moon. She woke with a start. Obina was still sleeping beside her. She looked at him, a silent storm of love and despair in her eyes. The river glowed under the full moon, silver and cold. Ezenwo rose from the depths, his watery form taller than a man, more terrifying than any storm. His voice thundered over the riverbank. Marinma, I claim what is mine. Marinma stepped forward, holding Obina's hand tightly. Her heart pounded. I will not go willingly, she said, voice trembling but firm. Ezenwo's eyes blazed. The river churned violently. I warned you. You belong to me. Obina stepped forward, placing himself between her and the spirit. The villagers watched from afar, paralyzed by fear. I will not allow harm to come to her, Obina shouted. I will face you, spirit, as long as I live. The water exploded around him like molten silver. Ezenwo's form twisted with rage. Then Marinma did something unexpected. She dropped to her knees, closed her eyes, and whispered, I offer myself. Take me, but spare him. The river calmed slightly. The wind stilled. Ezenwo hesitated. Marinma opened her eyes and added, Oh, I offer him, but spare myself. I cannot lose both of us. The spirit's form shimmered and paused. He spoke in a voice that shook the earth. A mortal life, willingly given, will satisfy me. Obina looked at her. His eyes reflected terror, love, and understanding. Then I choose, he said softly, tears streaking his face. If my life is the price, then I give it to you. Live, Marinma. Live and be free. Marinma screamed, trying to pull him back. No. Obina. You cannot. He cupped her face gently. I will not let you be destroyed. Your life is the one that matters. Ezenwo's watery hand descended. Obina's chest glowed faintly blue, the mark of the spirit transferring from threat to acceptance. He closed his eyes. And in a heartbeat, his body dissolved into shimmering water, absorbed into Ezenwo's form. Marinma fell to the riverbank, sobbing. Ezenwo's figure collapsed into the river, ripples settling into calmness. The river became still, peaceful for the first time in decades. Obina was gone. But the spirit's fury was quelled. Marinma was free. Marinma returned to the village, pale and trembling. The villagers whispered in awe and fear. The river was calm. The storms were gone. Ezenwo had vanished. The elders approached her. You are free, Mama Egbuni whispered. Your courage, your love, has ended a curse centuries old. Marinma wept. But her grief for Obine consumed her. For days, she wandered the riverbanks, praying, hoping, speaking to the water, searching for a trace of him. And one day, under the silver light of dawn, she felt a ripple in the river, a warmth that reminded her of his hands, and a whisper. Your heart is safe. I am free. And I am proud of you. Tears fell down her face, but this time, they were not only for grief, they were for hope, love, and the unbreakable human spirit. Marinma understood at last. Love could defy even spirits. Sacrifice could defeat destiny. An immortal heart could change the course of eternity. Years later, Marema became a healer, a storyteller, a guardian of the river. She taught the village that love is not possession. That courage is the truest magic. And that some spirits, no matter how powerful, can be challenged by a willing heart. Every full moon, she whispered prayers for Obinna. And sometimes, just sometimes, she felt him in the wind, beside her, smiling. The villagers remembered her as the woman who could have been claimed by a spirit, but chose love, sacrifice, and courage instead. And the river remained calm, as though the story itself had finally been told, and the curse finally laid to rest.